At Ben and Kelly Show, you can get a hold of us on social media as we dive into the DMs. Kelly, you got this one?
Yep. So this is an issue that I think, personally feeling so hard right now. But Andrea said, hey there, Ben and Kelly. My husband and I have 2 kids. They're 12 and 13. And I have to say they're pretty good kids. They don't complain too much about doing homework or chores. But the struggle we're having right now is screen time.
Yep.
We're constantly arguing over how much time they spend on their phones with TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, and other things. Now, my husband is almost as bad as the kids when it comes to phone time. So anytime we tell them to put their phones down, they point at him and say, well, he does it all the time. My husband and I are both 40, and our friends are having the same problem with their kids. You know, my dad says just take away their phones, but I think that's too harsh. Plus, I need to be able to be in touch with them. So do you guys have any ideas on how to limit their phone time?
I do. I first of all, I don't know if I can help you because that's something that, I'm struggling with. My wife and I are struggling with at our house too. Like Isabel and Sophia were not that bad. In fact, they would leave their phone. When we did get them a phone, they'd leave it at the house all the time when we'd go out. I mean, they didn't have it on them all the time. But Zoe is a little bit different in that she's a little bit more in that lane. So we did Google Family, and so it's a way that we can limit her screen time.
Oh, so you can make it impossible for her to get on it after a certain amount of time?
Yes, it's that there's an awake time, there's a sleep time, and then there are sites that she can and cannot go to. Yeah. And there's also a limit with which she can't exceed, and if she does, her phone goes to sleep. And so, unless we give her a code and allow her to unlock it or whatever. So
yes, and we got a text message. I've got an iPhone, and I have my kids in my settings set to where at a certain time at night until a certain time in the morning they can't use their phone. My son is 14, so from 10 p.m. till 6 a.m. he can't be on his phone. Yes, that is sure, but it's during the day. There are different pockets of time. I know as soon as my son gets in the car when I pick him up from school, he's immediately on it. And then when they get home, if I need to go back to work and I'm not around them, I know to monitor it. They're constantly on their phones, and I'm constantly talking to them about it. Hey, right. You have got to monitor yourself and watch how much time you're spending on this. Otherwise, we're gonna take it away.
All right. So if you've got some experience with this, or you are dealing with this now and you have a good solution or some good advice, we'd love to hear it. Both Kelly, myself, and Andrea.
We all need some help. Yes.
I mean, and then kind of how do you talk to your husband then about limiting his?
Yes.
Because he is setting an example that is kind of
it's counterproductive.
It is counterproductive to what you're trying to accomplish with your kids.
Yes.
All right. So 502-571-9970. Talking screen time, and it's hey, how fun is it to just, when you're waiting for something or you're just killing time, just take the phone out of your pocket and just do a little scrolling, just check your social media real quick, or check your emails, or check your text messages, or Snapchat, or whatever.
Yes.
We're dealing with that right now. Andrea is needing some help with how much her 12 and 13-year-olds are on a screen.
And her husband, too, because, they kind of differ in how they're approaching this. When she's trying to set limits with the kids are all looking at dad going, well, he's on it all the time.
Yeah, right, for sure. So how do you approach that? Raylyn?
We all have screen time on our phones, the parents included. So every week, screen time gives you a percentage of it, whether you're down or up for the week. And we all talk about how many hours we spent a day and how many that is in a week. Mm-hmm. And then we discuss, what we spent more time on. And then we try to, if it's social media, then we really try to limit that. But, sometimes they use their phone for Google or, schoolwork or, YouTube to learn things or things like that. So we don't limit that. But also their screen time stops at 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. and I do not let them get back on it until 4 p.m. because when they get off the bus, they have chores to be done, and they are not allowed to have their phone at all until their chores are finished and their schoolwork is finished.
Raylan, can my kids kind of come over to your house for a little bit? I mean, thank you, Raylan. Appreciate it.
That's pretty great. Mallory chimed in on Facebook saying, I was just getting advice about this yesterday. I think it was pretty good. I'm going to try it with my kids. Make a contract of the rules, like how many hours they can use it a day. I'm thinking 1 hour during the week, during the day, 2 hours on a weekend, keep it in the hallway to charge at night, stuff like that. And then come up with an agreed consequence if that rule is broken. And, we do that too. We kind of, after 8 o'clock, no more screens. They all live in the kitchen to get charged.
Yeah.
So nobody can be tempted in their room to pick it up and look at it at night, things like that. And we obviously don't have social media because they're middle school, elementary school, that kind of stuff. The only thing that they are allowed is like YouTube. But I'm constantly watching what they're watching on that too, because YouTube you can find all sorts of bad stuff on.
Yeah, I was going to say, Zoe has YouTube, looked at YouTube, but then, she can see reels and she can see all that stuff.
Exactly.
Just right there.
And that's what they're scrolling on. And so I'm constantly, asking my son, what are you watching? He's like, I just watch basketball stuff, Mom.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm trusting you to know what's inappropriate and what's appropriate.
It's funny because when we will take away screen time, and we're like, all right, no more screen time, or if it's like a punishment, like all right, you're getting grounded from screen time.
Yeah.
Sometimes she just assumes that's just her phone,
right?
And then she's like,
all right, I'll watch TV. Or I'll pick up the iPad.
Exactly. It's like, wait, this isn't the same thing. I'm like, yes, it is. It's all a screen.
That's screen time. It's a screen.
It's all a screen.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, this is some great advice, but I think one of the first places you need to go is getting your husband on board with this.
Yes. He is setting the example for your kids. And again, if he is not following along and with you united on trying to cut down his own screen time as an example, they're not going to be following, what you're saying either.
Yeah, it's funny. We got a text from a listener who said desperately need some advice for this too, because my kids are 8, 4, and 48. Yeah, I get it.
Same.
I get it. So, all right. Well, hey, cool. I don't think this is necessarily the end of the discussion, because I think you can jump on social media as we're talking about limiting all that
on
stuff.
Your phone, you can
right. Right. At Ben and Kelly Show. But you can share and kind of be a community and share your thoughts and what worked for you, because I really think a lot of opinions will probably help in this situation, because
and whether you have Android or iPhone, there's different tools that you can use to limit screen time. If you have family share plans, that kind of stuff, that can always be effective. But I think the other struggle is, especially for adults, we do a lot of work on our phones as well. So if they just see you on your phone, you may not just be like goofing off on social media or whatever. You might be actually doing work. And that is also tough to kind of explain the difference between that kind of screen time versus just recreational screen time.
Right. All good stuff. All right. Keep it going. Ben and Kelly Show on Facebook.